The clock blinked 7 a.m., but the room stayed stubbornly dark. No hum from the coffee maker, no cheerful news from the wall screen. John fumbled for his phone. The battery icon glowed an angry red. Power outage. Again, he sighed. This was becoming a Tuesday ritual. Electric cars were supposed to be the future. Now they were expensive paperweights on days like this. He peeked out the window. His street, normally buzzing with electric cars, was eerily quiet. A few desperate souls were already pedaling furiously on bicycles, their faces grim in the pale morning light. John rubbed his eyes, the reality of another disrupted day settling in. He had a presentation, a crucial one that could decide his team's fate. But the train station was miles away, and his usual ride, a sleek, silent electric car, was useless. John considered his options. Walking was out of the question. Public transport, he shuddered, remembering the last time he'd braved the overcrowded buses during a power outage. He glanced at his phone again, hoping for a miracle. The battery icon mocked him with its emptiness. He had to get to work, but how? The train station was a scene of utter chaos. People crammed onto the few diesel-powered trains still running, packed like sardines in a can. The air hung heavy with frustration and the pungent smell of sweat. John pushed his way through the throng, his hope dwindling with every passing minute. Announcements crackled through the distorted loudspeaker, apologies barely audible above the din. Delays, cancellations, and the ever-present reminder to be patient fueled the growing anger. He abandoned the train station, the image of the packed train cars seared into his memory. Buses, their diesel engines spewing thick black smoke, were overflowing. People clung precariously to doors, their faces a mixture of desperation and resignation. The sight filled John with a strange mix of dread and anger. This was the future they had been promised. Electric cars, clean energy, a healthier planet. The reality was a far cry from the utopian vision. Giving up on public transport, John walked until he reached the main road. Here, the past was colliding with the present in the most unexpected ways. Alongside sputtering, smoke-belching buses, horse-drawn carriages ferried people, their hooves clattering on the asphalt. Cyclists weaved through the chaotic traffic, their bells ringing incessantly. The air, thick with exhaust fumes and the stench of horse manure, stung his nostrils. It was a scene straight out of a history book, a jarring reminder of a past they thought they had left behind. He spotted a group of people huddled around a makeshift stall, sipping steaming beverages. A hand-painted sign proclaimed, "Bicycle repair, emergency service." A young woman tightened the brakes on a vintage-looking bike, her brow furrowed in concentration. The scene was both surreal and strangely reassuring. In the midst of this chaos, life, it seemed, found a way. Later that day, John sat in his darkened apartment listening to the wind howl outside. The news was no better than the reality he had witnessed. Wind turbines, touted as the answer to their energy woes, stood frozen, blades stilled by a freak weather pattern. Solar panels, blanketed by an unexpected dust storm, were rendered useless. The irony was not lost on him. They had strived for cleaner energy, yet nature, it seemed, had other plans. He remembered the heated debates, the protests, the eventual shutdown of the last nuclear power station. Back then, the promise of a world powered by wind, water, and sun had seemed so tantalizingly close. Now, shrouded in darkness, he wondered if they had been naive, too quick to dismantle the old without fully understanding the new. The air, he had to admit, was cleaner, but at what cost? His phone miraculously sprang to life, fueled by a few precious minutes of charge from his solar-powered backpack. Messages flooded in, one catching his eye. It was a picture from his colleague Sarah, their office building bathed in warm light. The caption read, "We're running on backup power, presentation rescheduled for tomorrow. Stay safe, everyone." Relief washed over him, a small victory in a day that had felt like a losing battle. He looked out his window. The sky was still overcast, the city still grappling with the energy crisis, but amidst the chaos he saw a glimmer of hope. People were adapting, finding ways to connect, to help each other. John decided not to go to work tomorrow. The city was in disarray, its rhythm disrupted. He needed to understand this new reality, this future no one had predicted. It wasn't just about him, his job, his presentation. It was about a society grappling with unintended consequences, learning to navigate a world where the old ways were gone and the new ways weren't yet fully formed. He looked out at the cityscape, the usually vibrant skyline now a silhouette against the fading light. For the first time in a long time, John felt a profound sense of uncertainty. The future had arrived, and it was nothing like they had imagined.